Hi, I'm Allie Benjamin,
And I'm Michael Benjamin.
and we're recording, broadcasting Growing Edge Inspiration tonight for the very first time here at the Satya Center.
Yes, and before we get started, Allie, this is a very special week for the Satya Center. Help us out. What's happening?
Yeah, it is. We are celebrating our 10th birthday. And so we have a wonderful center in Ogden, Utah, the Satya Center for Conscious Living. And we recently decided to add another offering. And so we decided to do this. And every Thursday night, we're going to be broadcasting Growing Edge Inspiration, spiritual food for you. We hope to share an experience that will uplift you and inspire you through meditation, music, and inspiring message. So tonight is our first broadcast, and next Thursday you can find us here again broadcasting from the Satya Center.
Yeah, beautiful. And so, again, just rewind, 10 years, 11 years before the Satya Center had its first Sunday. Why does Satya even exist? What's the purpose, or what was the desire, or what were you thinking when you started?
I really wanted to create a space where people could come together and to explore spiritual principles and practices that would help them out, me out, all of us out in our everyday lives. And for years I had been a religious science practitioner or a science of mind practitioner. And I had recently graduated from Emerson Theological Institute with my ministerial credential. And we had moved from Southern California to Ogden, Utah, and there was no Science of Mind center in the area. And so we started a discussion group, which then quickly turned into us gathering on Sundays and doing a pretty much a traditional church style service.
Yeah.
But we're not churchy at all. We're more spiritual than anything to do with traditional religion. So yeah, it started 10 years ago out of the inspiration to create something that would support people and to create a community. We were really longing to be in spiritual community. And so we thought, well, we'll create one. And so we did.
And have these spiritual teachings, these tools, this technology that we study, and it's positively affected your life and others as well, right?
Oh yeah, we've had hundreds of people come and enjoy the offerings that we have from our Sunday offerings, which we still continue. We have gatherings every Sunday where we meet and we share inspiration. We dive deeply into whatever the topic of the month is. And so it's a very interactive experience, and we hope to make this experience very interactive. I found that the Science of Mind has been a tremendous philosophy, faith, and way of life that has supported me in overcoming many struggles, from depression, anxiety, to just a general not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life. And once I started studying Dr. Ernest Holmes and many other New Thought teachers and current day spiritual luminaries and thought leaders, I put those practices into practice, the principles into practice, and I can say that now I have a great deal of focus and clarity on who I am and how I want to be and how I want to show up in the world. And these practices and principles really support me in creating a vision and living that vision and really enjoying life more than I ever had fathomed prior to studying Science of Mind.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
How about you? How have these teachings benefited your life?
It's just totally transformed my life, actually. I've gone from, like, when I first, in fact, I met you at his center in 1995, and on my way in, I was had struggles and felt like I was alone in the world and didn't really have it all figured out, and started to ask some confidants, some people I trust, for some direction, some advice, some help, and they pointed me in the direction of the center here. And boy, what a game changer, really, because really learning all these technologies, probably the biggest premise or the biggest thing that I've got is you have to do something with it. You have to put it into practice. It's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym one time and get in great shape. You don't go to a psychologist one time and get all the help you need. It doesn't work that way, right? And so the practice that we have, that I've learned, that has developed over the years, has been freeing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so many people come to the center and say the same thing, that once they got serious about life and started focusing their attention on what it is they wanted to experience, and then structured their life and their actions and the words they speak in alignment with who they're becoming and what they want to experience, that's what they experience. They experience the change that they were on the inside. That change equal to change on the outside. So here at the Satya Center, our vision and mission is envisioning a world where all live in freedom and joy, inspiring minds, healing hearts, and transforming lives. So
just before we go into meditation,
mm-hmm.
Why is it that we are taking and expanding our offerings to go online?
Yeah, well, we've noticed after being in personally, for me being in ministry for 10 years and us attending New Thought churches for the past 20 years, we've seen things change, and we've seen numbers decrease, and people across the board just don't seem to be interested. And it's not just New Thought, it's churches in general. People aren't going to church as much.
1 out of 6, right?
Yeah, 1 out of 6. So they go once every 6 weeks, I think is on average. And so we decided, we thought, well, let's try and do something different. And I know that all of us seem to enjoy watching YouTube and Facebook and TED Talks and things like that. So we thought, well, we'll give this a try.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing. We're taking this every Thursday night. We'll be here, and we would have Leslie Monroe, our music director, join us, but we're still dealing with some technical issues, so we haven't been able to include live music, and that should be different next week, or if not, the first of the year.
Come on, Leslie.
Yeah. So we're looking to really give you a really well-rounded spiritual experience here every Thursday that will include meditation and music and discussion. And we would love to be answering your questions too. So at the end of the broadcast, we'll give you a way to connect with us and ask us questions, because we want to know what you are interested in. And we want this to be an interactive and a collaborative. And we want to see where we can take these New Thought teachings and how we can include more people and reach more people, and do it in the comfort of our own homes.
Yeah,
so
at a time that works. At a time that works for you, after you put the kids down, or after you quiet your mind in the evening, if that works for you, or if you're an early riser like we are, anytime you can just push play and hopefully pick up something that inspires you and helps you to experience just a little bit of peace at this time.
Yeah. So how about a little bit of peace?
Are you ready?
How about a meditation?
Would you like that?
I would like that.
Okay. Me too. So let's just ready ourselves and just begin to arrive here at this very moment by coming into the awareness that that's what you want to do. Give yourself permission to be right here. Take a breath. And we turn within right here into the innermost, to the innermost on high. We turn within and begin to see with the inner eyes the outer eyes are closed, and we begin to open up the inner eyes and see the divine, the infinite presence, the indwelling presence that's always there. And as we breathe, we begin to expand our awareness of this. That we're coming into a realization that we're a part of something so much more than this. That we are not our bodies, and we're not even our mind. That we are that which has a body, and that which has a mind. That we are a part of the divine, universal, infinite presence. And so as I turn within and I see that light lighting up, and I see it almost seems like it's expanding through my awareness of it. Now I begin to see it expand beyond me, outside my body. I see you, and I see the light that you are lighting up. And I see it for all of humanity across the globe, across the planet, lighting up. And the divine in me honors and greets the divine in you. Namaste. And so let's take a breath. And just begin to make your way back into your body. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. When you're ready, open up your eyes. And take one more breath. And join me back here in this very moment. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on that centering and that little meditation. And now I'm going to give the balance of the time over to my beloved, our friend, our teacher, Allison Benjamin, Sparkle.
Mm-hmm. So here we are for the month of December. Our theme is Shine, Sparkle, Sizzle, and Share. And so all month long, we'll be offering messages that are drawn from the inspiration from a book that I've been reading called The Daily Flame, 365 Love Letters from Your Inner Pilot Light. And this is a book by Dr. Lissa Rankin. And she has written this book. It's a daily read, and it is your inner pilot light, or your higher self, your true self, your spiritual self, speaking to your persona, your ego, your physical self. So it's like these love letters every day from you to you. And so it's really fun, it's light, it's interesting, and it's pretty deep. And so I highly recommend it. So that is the Daily Flame by Lissa Rankin. So I love what the poet Mark Nepo says as he describes the inner pilot light. He says, each person is born with an unencumbered spot, free from expectation and regret, free from ambition and embarrassment, free from fear and worry, an umbilical spot of grace where we were each first touched by God. Isn't that beautiful? That spot within us, that place where no matter what's going on, that it is completely whole, complete, and perfect. So that is what we're talking about when we talk about the inner pilot light. So life isn't all peaches and cream. There's struggle and there's difficulties. It's not all a bowl of cherries and peaches and rainbows and unicorns. We all experience ups and downs, successes and failures, ease and challenges. This is our life, and this is our collective story. And so balancing that blending that dark and that light for ourselves is truly a skill and a sacred practice. And so I want to share some insights today to help you, to help me, to create that inner harmony around the dark and the light, the positive and the negative, and all those ways that we experience joy and sorrow, etc. So I've created something called the Sparkle Method. And this Sparkle method is to help you have an activation of loving awareness and to help you awaken to your intuition and to unleash and let loose your creative energy. And that's really what we are. We're distribution centers for creative energy. And so this Sparkle Method, I believe, will assist us in bringing us through those dark times and to being on a more level platform where we can be more intuitive, where we can be more aware of our love and our ability to love. I call it loving awareness. And so here we go. Because I know that we're here on this earth to bring forth our love and our light. And that's what you're here for. That's what I'm here for. And so, sparkle. So the S in sparkle is silently. It's so important to when we're going through the dark days, when we're having troubling thoughts, when things seem to be uphill instead of downhill, or paddling upriver, or things around us aren't working the way we would like them to. It's so important to maybe disengage or take a time out, find a spot where you can be by yourself and to just sit in the silence, and not to deny the stress or the sadness or the worry or the doubt or whatever it is that has you in a place of disharmony. Not to deny that, but just to silently sit with it and just explore the feelings. Just sit with the discomfort for a moment. And maybe as you sit with it and don't try and deny it or stuff it or push it away, just simply sit with that. There may be an easing up around it. And so in the silence, we get to process our thoughts, and we get to connect with our heart and our divinity. We get to be that witnessing presence to life, and to observe life, and to experience a deeper sense of stillness in the silence. And so as we breathe and we settle and we enjoy the silence, there's a greater expansion of peace that occurs. And so sparkle is to enter into the silence. And the second word, the second letter P, represents practice. So in the silence, we get to practice. What do we practice? Meditation, mindfulness. We get to practice things that bring us a sense of connection to the earth, a sense of coherence between our minds, our thinking minds, and our hearts. And so there's several practices that we can include in this time of silence that help us to disassociate from some of the troubling thoughts, the negative thoughts about ourselves and around others, and to practice, let's say, breathing. Michael just led us through a little meditation, and that was very calming and centering. And so as we simply close our eyes and breathe and allow ourselves to be fully present in this now moment, because the past is over and the future is yet to come, and the point of peace and the point of creation is in this now moment. So we silently practice being present in the now. And that then comes the A, S-P-A. And A stands for awareness. So as we silently practice, what we notice is our awareness expands. And we become more aware of reality with a big R. There's reality with a little r, that's all the stuff that's happening. Then there's reality with a big R. Reality with a big R is everything is unfolding just as it should. Everything that is perfect. Even in the ups and downs. In this place of expanded awareness, as we silently practice and our awareness expands, we find we're not arguing with reality like we do when we're so engaged with our critical thinking or analytical thinking or judgment thinking or cynical thinking. And we simply let the mind be the mind. And we remember that we're actually that which has a mind, that we're more than the mind, and that we're more than the body. We're that which has a body and that which has a mind. And so our awareness expands as we spend more time in meditation, in mindfulness. And mindfulness is similar to meditation. Mindfulness is when we become particularly aware of what's going on in the mind and what's going on in the world. And we pay close attention without giving it any judgment or making opinions about it. We just notice what we're feeling and how we're feeling. And as we practice, more and more as we practice mindfulness, we become more at peace with what is, and we're less affected by the externals of life. And we have a greater, deeper sense of inner stillness and inner presence. So silently practice awareness. And as we do this, something starts to happen. And I feel it here at the very center of my chest. And I call it a rekindling. And there's this rekindling or this awakening. And it could have something to do with in the meditation, you can use your breath to create coherence with the heart. So as you breathe in, you might visualize your breath coming through your mouth or nose and then traveling down into your heart. And then on the exhale, the breath comes up. And in this way, there's a circular motion to the breathing. You may have heard of Heart Math Institute. And there's a lot of heart math exercises, breathing exercises, meditation exercises that help us to get this heart breath going, where we're beginning to have coherence between what we're thinking and how we're feeling. And there's as we're in a better feeling place through our meditation and we're practicing this heart breath, then there's an expansion, there's a rekindling of that inner pilot light that Dr. Lissa Rankin talks about, that inner pilot light that can be, that flame, those flames can be fanned. And that light, that luminous light that you are, that all beings are, as we silently practice awareness and that rekindling occurs. It's like when a fire is losing the flames and it's going dim and getting cooler. All you need to do is go to the fire and gently blow on the embers, and it usually sparks up flames. And then you throw another log on, and voila, you have a burning fire. And so they're silently practicing and expanding awareness and rekindling those inner flames, that flame of truth, that divine spark that you are. Then it leads to this greater sense of knowing. And so we move from thinking about who we might be or what we might want to experience, or a deeper sense of peace, to a knowing, a real knowing of what peace is. And so as our knowing about what we want to experience and how we want to experience life, this greater sense of knowing occurs, and we feel a greater sense of intuition, that we're open and receptive to receive that inner guidance from that inner pilot light. Another way of saying it is we develop an inner ear to be able to hear that still small voice of the divine within us. And so as our knowing expands, we develop a greater sense of personal truth, a personal sense of wisdom, and settle into that sense of who we are and begin to really develop discernment about the way we think and the choices we make. And there's a real sense of peace that occurs as we expand our awareness and rekindle that flame, and have a deeper sense of knowing, not only about who we are in the world, but what we are. The who we are is our personality. It's the roles we play in life, our vocation, it's our relationships and the way we relate to others, and the way we dress and the way we move, and our preferences, and what we do with our lives and our hobbies and our interests. That's who we are. And then there's this deeper awareness around what we are. And what we are is a child of God. And it goes back to that description that Mark Nepo talked about. What's the inner pilot light? We're born with an unencumbered spot, free of expectation and regret, free of ambition and embarrassment, free of fear and worry, an umbilical spot of grace where we were each first touched by God. And so that's that inner knowing, that inner connection with that dimension of our being that has never been scared or worried or anxious, that part of us, that dimension of our being that is beyond time and space. And so we begin to tune into that deeper part of us. And as we do that, something really wonderful occurs, and it's the L in Sparkle, and L stands for love, agape love. A deeper sense of self-love and appreciation occurs as we silently practice awareness and rekindle that inner fire, that inner pilot light, that inner flame, and we have a deeper expanded awareness around what we are, that love for ourselves, our love for life begins to take over, and you can feel it in your body. You can feel it when you're experiencing unconditional love. We've all felt it. It's at one point or another. Maybe it's you've been outside and you've been on a mountaintop and you've looked down and just been in awe at the splendid vista and all that's laying out before you. Or maybe it's been a time where you gazed into the eyes of a newborn baby and you felt such unconditional love, such connection, such recognition of divinity and the sacredness of life. And so there's that expansion of love that we feel. And because we live in this energetic universe, when we're vibrating at the energy or the level of love, then we are attracting that into our lives. And when our heart center's open, when we're connected with that part of us that isn't putting conditions on the world, that isn't saying, well, you have to do so and so or such, or life has to be a particular way, and then I'll be happy, then I'll love you. When we place conditions out there in the world, then we're not experiencing the ease and the flow of unconditional love that occurs when we start putting conditions on life. So that's the L, is love. And then the final letter is E, and E stands for energy. So what happens when we silently practice awareness, rekindling that inner pilot light and expanding our knowing and activating our love energy and vibration, we begin to feel very energized, and we begin to participate in the law of cause and effect, knowing that we're the cause and our energy is causative, and our energy goes where our energy flows, where our attention goes. So we start to be really mindful about where our attention goes, what we focus our attention on, the quality of our thoughts. And then once we see the relationship between our energy and what manifests or materializes in our lives, we start to really be empowered to be creators, and our ability to have a more vibrant, alive, awake experience occurs. So silently practice awareness, rekindling knowing, expanding love, and allowing the creative energy of the universe to flow. And so we can move from feeling very dark and down and feeling very disempowered. And by practicing this sparkle method, I know that you will tune in to that greater sense of who and what you truly are, and tune into the love that you are. So I know that you are a unique fractal of light, a brilliant, luminous being, a luminous fire, a luminescent soul here on earth to bring forth your brilliance, that there's divine gifts that you're here to bring forth, and you're here to experience the sacred joyride that life is. So I'd like to share some affirmations. So if you would, just close your eyes and I'll say them. And if you'd like, go ahead and say them out loud. I am a unique fractal of light. I am a brilliant, luminous fire. I am a luminescent soul here on earth to bring forth my brilliance. I am here to share my divine gifts. I am ready to experience life as a sacred joyride. So those are some affirmations that I trust that those will help you to remember that right here, right within you, there is a light that is so bright. And it just takes you to see it, to recognize it, and to unleash that power. So before I go, I want to leave you with a question. We all experience highs and lows in life. Struggles and ease is just part of this human experience. And sometimes our biggest breakdowns can actually be catalysts to our biggest breakthroughs. So what luminous pearls of wisdom have you harvested from your darkest hours? So what luminous pearls of wisdom have you harvested from some of your darkest hours? And as you start to focus on the gifts of light that have come out of the darkness, I know that you will begin to see that your life has been perfect. Even in the darkest times, the darkest hours, there's been God's love, there's been light, there's been wisdom. So I trust that you will find that, and I trust that you found this inspiring. And namaste. Lots of love.
Thank you, Ali. Sparkle. Oh, wonderful tools and a couple announcements. Join us next Thursday in the same place on Facebook Live for more Growing Edge inspirations. Also, if you would like to be on our mailing list, our email list, either PM us, send us a message, or go to the satyacenter.org, or send Ali a direct email. through private message. Just let her know that you want to be connected, and we'll make sure that you're up to speed with all the offerings of our community and what's happening now. And please like the Satya Center on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up, make some comments. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And also, if you have been, and we trust that you have been, spiritually fed with things here, some of the messages and the teachings that we're sharing, super easy for you to contribute to our 501c3 community, the Satya Center. You just text GIVE to 385-217-6312. And what you'll receive is a link with very clear instructions. It's super safe. We do it. We use it all the time, and I'm touched with just how simple it is to give, big or small. Thank you for your ongoing support, and that is the way that our community thrives.
So I would love to close with a little activation. I call it an activation. Some people call it prayers. I call it an activation. So if you will, take some time to close your eyes and to center yourself in your heart and practice a little bit of that heart breath, breathing in and exhaling, breathing in love, exhaling love. And as you allow your breath to find its natural rhythm, and as you tune in to all that you have to be grateful for, and as we do that, as we count our blessings, as we recognize how generous the universe is and how much we have received throughout our lives, how much we've been given, how much we've given. And we simply surrender into that natural flow of the universe, the give and the receive. And we see ourselves as a part of this give-receive. And so grateful. So I know that there is only one life, one power, one presence, one infinite organizing intelligence that is living, moving, breathing us even now. And as we expand our awareness to include this new teaching, this sparkle method, as we expand our awareness to silently practice awareness, as we sit in that awareness, it's expanding our connection with the divine, and as we rekindle that inner pilot light, and we stoke the fire, and we use affirmations to, as though they're little logs to throw on that fire, and we tell ourselves how powerful we are, how worthy we are, how much joy there is in life, and how grateful we are. We rekindle that knowing, that deep inner knowing about what we are as children of the universe. Divine sparks shot forth from that one eternal flame. And as we begin to feel our oneness and expand our feeling of love, unconditional love, that energy that is flowing from that love and that awareness simply moves throughout the universe, moves throughout our lives as we engage ourselves with things that bring us joy, relationships that bring us joy, that we get to bring our joy to. We simply breathe and know that all is well, all is well. So I release these words into the action of the Lord, knowing that it is done and it is so. And together we say,
and so it is. Amen.
So peace and blessings to you. We send out love from our hearts to yours, and we'd love to hear back from you. So please like us on Facebook, find us at the Satya Center on Instagram, and you can go to our website, thesatyacenter.org. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know how Sparkle's working for you.
Yeah. Awesome. Good
Happy
night.
Christmas. Talk to you soon.
Bye.